Shahrazad had kept us up all night long because he didn't finish her story. So then we come to night 305. On night 305, the morning now dawned, and then finally Shahrazad broke off from what she had been allowed to say. Then, when it was the 305th night, she continued. Oh, I didn't. I had heard a fortunate king, O fortunate king, that Abu Muhammad said, we made our way on until we came to the creatures who had guided me to her. I asked them to show me how to get home, which they did. They went with me to the seashore and put me on a ship, which with favorable winds took us to the city of Basra. See, he has his bride now, which he got from the city of brass. There my bride went to her father's house, where her family were overjoyed to see her. I myself burned musk as incense for the eagle talisman, and the Ifrits came to me from all sides, saying, "Here we are, master. What do you want us to do?" I told them to fetch all the wealth, precious stones, jewels that were in the city of Basra, and bring them to my house in Basra. See, this is the story of Abu Muhammad the Sluggard, and we're trying to figure out how he got so rich. He had started out as a sluggard. When they had done that, I asked them to bring me the monkey, who was humble and dejected when they fetched him. "Why did you deceive me, you damn creature?" I asked him, and then on my orders the Ifrits put him in a narrow brass bottle with a stopper of lead. I and my wife had been living in happiness and joy, and I now have treasures, wonderful jewels, quantities of wealth beyond all count or limit. If you want money or anything else, I will give my orders to the Ifrits, who will fetch it for you immediately. All that comes about through the grace of Almighty God. We're reading from night 305. The commander of the faithful was filled with wonder at this, and he presented Muhammad with princely gifts and appropriate benefits in exchange for what Muhammad had brought him. That's Mohammed the Sluggard. A story is also told that in the days before Harun al-Rashid grew jealous of the barmecides, he summoned one of his officers, a man named Salih. When Salih came, Harun told him to go to Mansur and to say to him, "You owe me 1,000,000 dirhams, and you must bring me this sum immediately." Harun added to Salih, "If he does not produce it for you before sunset, then cut off his head and bring it to me. To hear is to obey," said Salih. And he went to Mansur, told him what the Caliph had said. "I am a dead man," said Mansur. "If I sold my goods and everything that I own at the highest possible price, that would not fetch more than 100,000 dirhams. So where am I going to get the remaining 900,000? So Salih replied, "Think of some way to save yourself, but be quick, or else you are dead. I cannot let you have a moment more than the time that the Caliph has specified, as I have to obey his orders to the letter. Hurry to find some way out of this before time runs out, Salih," replied Mansur. I ask you to please take me home so that I may say goodbye to my children and my family and give my instructions to my relatives, Salid said. I went back to his house with him, and when he started to take his leave of his family, there was a great outcry throughout the house, with loud weeping, shrieks, and cries for help from Almighty God. I told him, it has occurred to me that God might save you through the help of the barmecides, so come with me to the house of Ya'ib Khalid. We went to him, and when I told him about Mansur's dilemma, he was filled with sorrow. He looked down on the ground for a while, and then he raised his head and summoned his treasurer. How much is there in your treasury? He asked, and on being told that there were 5,000 dirhams, Yahya told the man to bring them to him. He then sent a messenger to his son, Al-Fad, with a note to say, I have offered for sale some splendid estates that will never lose their value, so send me some money. Al-Fad sent him 1,000,000 dirhams, after which he sent another man to his son Jafar with a message to say that he was involved in some important business and needed money. Jafar immediately sent him 1,000,000 dirhams. He continued sending requests to other members of his family until he had collected a huge sum of money for Mansur, although neither I nor Mansur knew this. Mansur said to Yahya, I cling to the skirts of your robe as I don't know where to get this money except from you, this being your habitual generosity. Pay off the remainder of my debt and make me your freed slave. Yahya bent his head and wept. Then he told his page, the commander of the faithful gave my slave girl Dananur a jewel of great price. Go to her and tell her to send it to me. The page went and brought it, after which Yahya told Mansur, I brought this from the merchants for the commander of the faithful. I paid 200,000 dinars for it, and he gave it to my slave girl Dananur, the lute player. When he sees it with me, he will recognize it and treat you generously and spare your life for our sake and do us honor. You now have the full sum. I took the money and the jewel to Al-Yasid. Mansur went with me, and while we were on our way, I heard him quoting this verse. It is not out of affection that I went to them, but for fear of being shot with arrows. I was amazed by his evil nature, his wickedness and depravity, and the vileness of his origins and his birth. I said in answer to him, there are no better people on the face of the earth than the barmecides, and no one fouler and more base than you. They have ransomed you from death and saved you from destruction, conferring a favor on you by freeing you from this, and far from showing gratitude and praising them like a man of nobility, you reward their generosity by saying this. I then went to Al-Yasid and told them the whole story. Strange. That's the end of night 305, and we don't know why it ended that way. It's going to keep us up all night until night. That was night 305, and now the next night is 306. We are reading 1001 Nights of the Arabian Nights from Penquin Classics. Do you understand it?